all of you are doing very well. And welcome to the library. I'm so happy to have this service. We are just so excited to have you here. You know, sometimes whenever people think of the library, they think of, just checking out books. But we are so much more than that. And especially in this day and age, whenever, people are kind of isolated by the internet and they, don't always get to talk to people. You can have a Kindle or a Nook or something and check out a digital book, but it's just not the same as holding paper. And we also have board games that you can check out and play at the tables here. And we have computers available for you. And we even have a section where you can rent video games. So the teenager in your life can come and enjoy the library as well. Just really things for the whole family. And we even have that children's section over there that is so cute with the little tree growing out of the checkout counter. So it's just very whimsical. But today I am not reading to kids, but we do kind of have a Halloween themed children-friendly book. It does have higher, kind of deeper messages though. So it is written for kids, but I think that you adults will really enjoy it too. We do have all kinds of people in our group here today. Some of you are kind of hard of hearing. Some of you can't see to enjoy reading on your own. So I'm just so happy to be able to share this with you. And, part of the library's outreach is just to make everyone feel welcome and have something for everybody. The disadvantaged youth, disadvantaged adults, and if you are, what do they want me to say now? The urban unhoused or urban campers. We have lots of urban campers that like to use our internet services, and they are so welcome to do so and look up all kinds of things. So we're just so happy to have you here, and I hope that you enjoy the reading of The Widow's Broom. And you can see the little call number. It is part of our library, so you can check this out if you would like to. I do believe we only have one copy of it though, so no fighting if you want to read it again afterward. So let's begin. And I'll hold it up so those of you who can see the pictures, but we'll also describe the pictures too. All right. We start with this first page. It has a beautiful, it looks like a lithograph of a witch flying on a broom with some geese around her. It's black and white. And then on the page with words, it has pumpkins on the top and the bottom. Okay, it says, witches' brooms don't last forever. They grow old, and even the best of them one day lose the power of flight. Fortunately, this does not happen in an instant. Someone brought their dog. Okay. Fortunately, this does not happen in an instant. A witch can feel the strength slowly leaving her broom. The sudden bursts of energy that once carried her quickly into the sky become weak. Longer and longer running starts are needed for takeoff. Speedy brooms that, in fact, in their youth, outraced hawks are passed by slow flying geese. Oh, I guess that's why we have geese in front of this broom in this picture. When these things happen, a witch knows it's time to put her old broom aside and have a new one made. On very rare occasions, however, a broom can lose its power without warning and fall with its passenger to the earth below. which is just what happened one cold autumn night many years ago. Oh, and this spread is just pictures. So it's black and white again. All of the pictures in this book are black and white lithographs. And you can see the witch's feet at the top of one picture, and then the broom falling out from underneath her, and the forest down below. And we even have a little village house. And then on the next page, you can see the witch has fallen further, and you have her hat flying off on its own. And then the bottom of the page has her cape flapping up because of her descent. Okay. Well, let's read this and then we'll describe the picture, because I think this picture goes along with what the words are. Out of a moonlit sky, a dark, crowded figure came spinning to the ground. The witch, along with her tired broom, landed beside a small white farmhouse. Oh, I guess that's the farmhouse we saw on the last page. The home of a lonely widow named Mina Shaw. At daybreak, Widow Shaw discovered the witch lying in her vegetable garden. She was bruised and bloody and couldn't stand up on her own. In spite of her fear, and because she was a kind woman, Mina Shaw helped the witch inside and put her to bed. The witch asked Mina Shaw to draw the curtains. You have a question? Okay, no, okay. Just making sure. Yes, feel free to ask any questions, okay? There are no stupid questions. We welcome everything. If the thought pops into your head, I would love to hear it. Okay. Where were we? Okay. The witch asked Mina Shaw to draw the curtains, then wrapped herself tightly in her black cape and fell soundly asleep. She lay there perfectly still all day and all evening. When she firmly awoke at midnight, her wounds had completely healed. Oh, I'm sorry. In this picture is the Widow Shaw, and you see a hand sticking up out of a... Those aren't pumpkins. Those are more like gourds. A gourd patch. Reaching up, and the widow is very surprised. Oh, she rose from the bed and moved silently through the widow's house. Mina Shaw was asleep in a chair by the fireplace where embers of a dying fire glowed on the... Oh, okay. What's your question? What's an ember? Okay. Well, an ember is kind of like whatever the ash from like a log fire falls, and it doesn't just immediately go out, it kind of glows red. Okay. Okay, what were we? I apologize. Dying on the hearth. Okay. The witch knelt and took one of the red-hot coals in her hand. Outside, she made a fire of leaves and twigs, then dropped a strand of her hair into the flame. The fire hissed and crackled, burning with the brilliant blue light. Okay, we have another question. What's a strand of hair? Okay, and it's kind of hard to get into the story. I know I said questions are welcome. Maybe I could tell you to get a dictionary, but I think you're one of the ones that can't see. Maybe go up to the front desk and ask them to look it up for you in the dictionary. Yeah, I think. Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you. I thought that it's just hard for me to keep stopping. I apologize. Maybe we can have questions at the end. Yeah, that would be good. That would be good. Okay. Where were we? Before long, the witch could see a dark form flying overhead. It was another witch who circled slowly and landed beside the fire. The two women spoke briefly, the first witch gesturing toward... Oh, you're gesturing. Okay, what's your question? What does gesturing mean? Well, gesturing is like what you just did by raising your hand to ask a question. It's a movement that kind of emphasizes what you're saying or what you mean. Okay. Yeah, questions at the end. That'd be great. Thank you. Where were we? Okay. Gesturing towards the garden where her old broom rested. Then they sat side by side on the second witch's broom and flew off over the treetops. And in this picture is a picture of the witch. I'm not sure if this is the witch that came to help the first witch or if this is a completely different second witch. Okay. When Mina Shaw woke up, she wasn't surprised to find that her guest had gone. Witches she knew had unusual powers. It didn't surprise her either when she saw that the old broom had been left behind. The widow guessed it had lost its magic. It was an ordinary broom now, just like the one she kept in her kitchen. She began using it around the house and found that it was no better or worse than brooms she had used before. One morning, Mina Shaw was still in bed when she heard a noise coming from the kitchen. She peeked in and saw something that made her heart jump. There was the broom sweeping the floor all by itself. And it stopped for a moment, and it turned to the widow and then went back to work. Oh, I'm sorry. This picture is of the widow looking into her kitchen and the broom sweeping all by itself. At first, Mina was frightened, but the broom seemed harmless, and what's more, it was doing a very good job. Unfortunately, it swept all day long. In the evening, to get some peace, she locked the broom in a closet. But when it tapped on the door for more than an hour, Mina felt guilty and let it out. As she lay in bed listening to the broom sweeping each room over and over, she wondered if it could learn to do other things. In the morning, she led the broom outside and found out it was a very good student. She needed to show it how to do something only once. Soon the broom could chop wood, fetch water, feed the chickens, and bring the cow in from pasture. It could even pick out simple tunes on the piano. And here in this picture, we see the broom carrying chicken feed and spilling it out for the chickens to eat. Oh, and in this other picture on the next page, it's chopping wood. How helpful. Okay, not a week passed before the widow's neighbors, the Speedys, found out about the broom. Their farm was just down the road, and the only other place around. It was one of the 8 Speedy children who saw the broom first. When the boy told his father, Mr. Speedy ran straight across the road to the widow's house. "Is it true?" he demanded. "Did she really have such a broom?" "Oh, yes," Mina Shaw answered. "It's wonderful." She told her neighbor all about the broom and the witch who'd left it behind. Then she took him around to the back of the house where the broom was hard at work splitting wood. Mr. Speedy was horrified. "This is a wicked, wicked thing," he said. "This is the devil." The broom stopped working and, still clutching the axe, hopped towards the widow and her neighbor. Mr. Speedy, red-faced with anger, turned quickly and hurried home. Oh, you're not looking at the pictures, are you? You're looking at these. Yeah. Yeah, they're nice, aren't they? Thank you. Okay. Okay, here's, in this picture, the broom is picking out tunes on the piano, so it's pushing the keys, and then there are people watching. Soon, more distant neighbors heard about the broom and visited the widow's farm. The men who saw it seemed to agree it was probably a wicked thing, but their wives pointed out that it was a great help to the widow and could play the piano well, considering that it struck just one key at a time. No one's feelings were as strong as Mr. Speedy's. "It's evil and dangerous," he told everyone who would listen. "We'll be sorry if this thing stays among us." He sounds fun. As days went by, the broom seemed as innocent and hard-working as ever. Though it had learned how to do many things, sweeping brought it special pleasure. It was, after all, a broom. Occasionally, which means sometimes, when there was nothing to do around the widow's house, it would hop down the road that separated Mina Shaw's and the Speedys farms. The road was dirt, of course, and the broom could amuse itself there for hours. Oh, these are some evil-looking kids and their dog. Oh, this is foreshadowing. Looks like they're poking the broom with sticks. One afternoon, two of Speedy's boys and their dog walked along the road where the broom was happily at work. When they saw what it was doing, they kicked small stones at the broom and small stones the broom had swept aside back onto its path. Sorry. Yeah, questions at the end. Thank you. Okay. What was I? They kicked the stones back into the broom's path. The broom ignored them and shuffled off to sweep another part of the road. But the Speedy boys would not leave it alone. They called the broom names. When it continued to ignore them, they picked up a couple of sticks and started tapping the broom's handle. Finally, it stopped sweeping. The broom turned to the two boys and knocked them both so hard they fell to the ground in tears. The broom hopped off, but the Speedy dog ran after it, yelping and biting its bristles. "Get him," the boys yelled. The little dog leapt into the air and caught the broom by the handle, but he was not there for long. Oh, this next spread is just pictures. So it's of the Speedy boy's dog biting the handle of the broom, which just kind of curved over. And then the next picture is the broom's handle curved the other direction and the dog flying through the air. I guess the dog should have left the broom alone and let it do its work that it's trying to do to help people and not interrupt it. That evening, Mr. Speedy drove his wagon up to the widow's house. She was not alone. 3 men from neighbored... Just a second. Did we miss a page in all that kerfluffle? No, we did not. It just let the pictures stay on its own. Okay. That evening, Mr. Speedy drove his wagon to the widow's house. He was not alone. 3 men from neighboring farms were in the wagon, along with a long wooden stake of coils and rope. Mr. Speedy knocked loudly. When she opened her door, Mina was frightened by what she saw. "We've come for the broom," her neighbor told her. "It's beaten my sons, and likely done worse to my dog." The poor animal was nowhere to be found. The widow could tell by their faces that the men would not be leaving without her broom. There was nothing she could do to stop them. For a moment she stood silently, then answered, "Of course you are right. If it could do such a thing, we must get rid of it." She led the men to her kitchen. "It sleeps in there," she whispered, pointing to a closet. "If you move it carefully, it will not wake up." The men knew how strong the broom was and hoped the widow was right. The next page is a picture of men sitting in a wagon going away and the widow off to the side. Okay. They opened the closet door, revealing the slumbering broom. One of the farmers took it out and gently held it against the stake while the others wrapped it in yards of rope. They carried the broom outside, drove the stake into the ground, and gathered straw around it. You would think the straw at the base of the broom would suffice. Mr. Speedy lit the fire. In no time, flames turned the broom to ashes. Life soon returned to normal around the widow's farm. The Speedys even found their dog, healthy but hungry, caught in the branches of a tall spruce tree. Then one morning, Mina Shaw called on her neighbors with frightening news. She had seen the ghost of the broom. It was white as snow and moved through the woods at night carrying an axe. Mr. Speedy did not believe her, but that night, under a full moon, he watched from a window as the broom's white ghost came out of the woods and slowly circled his house. The next night it returned, circling even closer, and the night after that, it came again, tapping the axe lightly on the Speedy's door. Next, we have two full pictures of the broom, all white, carrying an axe to the Speedy's cabin. Oh no, we're almost done. Okay, this is the last page. The next morning, Mr. and Mrs. Speedy packed their dearest possessions and 8 children to their wagon. Mr. Speedy tried to convince the widow to leave with them, but she chose to stay behind in her little farmhouse. She went down the road as the wagon pulled away and waved goodbye to her neighbors. "You're a brave woman," Mr. Speedy called out. That evening, the widow fell asleep in her chair by the fire. She'd been listening to music. Simple tunes played one note at a time on the piano. A gentle tap on her shoulder woke her. She looked up and smiled at the broom. Not a ghost at all, but still covered with the white coat of paint she'd given it. "You play so nicely," Mina Shaw said, and the broom bowed, put a log on the fire, and played another tune. The end. And the moral of this story is, don't mess with a smart woman. All right. I know that I said that I would take questions at the end, but I'm kind of creeped out, busy. So direct any questions that you have towards our gentleman friend at the front desk, and he will be so happy to help you. The library is going to close soon, so just get your questions in. I'm going to put this right here. So if anyone wants to check it out, you're very welcome to. Thanks some of you for listening. I know that I feel like some of you weren't looking at the pictures some, and that was distracting for me. But yes, we are so happy to have you here, and I'm just gonna go home and enjoy a nice bowl of soup with my cats, and just think of the next time that we can read together. You know, for a moment there, I thought we were going to have to break this into 2 days, and wouldn't that be fun? That 2 days of adult reading, the 2 days in a row. No, but we were able to get through this, and now I'll schedule the next one very soon, and I will see you later. Thank you. Hey, Kelly. Yeah. No, it's okay to FaceTime. The library closed, but oh my God. I don't know if I'm ever going to schedule another adult reading but yeah, I'm totally good for drinks tonight. What do you, oh, okay, I was gonna ask if you were gonna change. Not that there's anything wrong with what you're wearing, but I know I'm going to have quite a few drinks and get out of this and put on some leather, different boots, just because why not? And yeah, I guess I'll call you when I'm on my porch and we can kind of just actually talk about the reading that I had today, and about, you know, some people here that I probably shouldn't talk about right now. But No, there's, yeah, of course there's more drama. There's always drama going on here. You know. I don't know, you put 10 people working in rotation in a building where people don't even come anymore and see what happens. Yeah. Yeah. The stacks, they're active and not because people are checking out books. You know what I mean? So yeah, you get ready and I'll call you back, okay? When I get home. Bye.